Well, hello everybody. It's great to be here and cover the next topic. The topic I have is, how do we think about, marketplaces, especially when it comes to not only getting the first order, but how do we think about scaling for sellers and retailers working together in terms of driving the next set of orders. So that's what the topic that I wanted to cover today. Hopefully you can see my screen here, and I can cover some of those pieces. Hold on a second. So hopefully you can see my screen now. Very quickly, my name is Amit Sharma. I'm the founder and CEO here at Narvar. Very quickly about the company, we we help brands and retailers to really enabling the most comprehensive and engaging post-purchase experience. So anything as consumers are placing orders online, how do we really drive those touch points on behalf of brands and retailers? That's what we help our client base. In terms of um, overall products, very quickly, we have a series of products on our platform, helping them setting expectation at the time of delivery. So what we call our shipping products. When it comes to once the order is placed, how can we proactively notify and keep the end consumer up to date? Providing notifications, tracking for order or delivery. And then there's a series of products where after delivery, which is around returns and exchanges, so that consumers can really continue to have that touch points with their brands. In this example with Levi's, when it comes to online returns and exchanges, and continued for brands to monitor their supply chain and their end-to-end consumer experiences. So that's very briefly about the Narvar platform and the suite of products that we offer to businesses who are doing commerce and online, have online stores. So the topic I wanted to cover today is more around market pace and supply chain. We just heard from Laura. Supply chain is very much top of mind in mainstream right now, with all sorts of constraints in labor market as well as in final mile delivery. So what are the key aspects? It's good for companies, as sellers in these cases, to list their products in various different retailers and online stores. But how do they think beyond the first placement of orders, and really when at the scale stage, areas that they have to keep in mind to really drive that consumers and customers to buy their products through various different retailers? And few things that I will be talking about, both for sellers as well as retailers who are actually hosting these various different marketplace sellers on their ecosystem. So, the topic that I want to touch upon is really how do you set expectations? Set expectations with the end shopper, the customer, when it comes to the end-to-end supply chain and shopping journey. So, three areas that I wanted to highlight today in this session is around shipping, different shipping methods and options. Delivery, which is predominantly around either the cost or the delivery date expectations, and then various aspects of returns and returns policy. So I will be showing some specific use cases and examples, and highlighting these areas that are really important for the end consumers, the customers, the sellers, as well as the retailers that are hosting these various different sellers on their platform. So there are three things that are coming together to really offer an end-to-end post-purchase expectations for end consumers. So let's start with areas that where things tend to fall apart, often create confusion at the time of purchase, or for consumers who have placed the orders while they're waiting for their orders, and that creates frustration or confusion for them. So I'm going to highlight few of those specific examples, and then I'll also highlight areas that companies or the sellers who can actually take some areas that are doing well in these three places that I highlighted: shipping, delivery, and returns. So in this first case, like I'm looking at this car vacuum cleaner. This is a product page, and so two things that I've highlighted here: shipping. It's a long shipping delivery range, and it is okay to have longer range, but when it spans from 5 days to 30 plus days, there's a different way of communicating that message. When you're saying that this product is in stock, but it takes almost over a month to get it delivered. And this is the area where it is okay to list your product, but then really driving the sale at scale would be challenging in this particular case for this particular seller who is using New Egg as a marketplace platform. Also, what you would notice here is that there's no delivery date setup, and consumers who are trained on Amazon and other platform, they really look for when can I actually receive it. So in these two cases, not only how long it's going to take to ship the product, but not having that you know a real understanding how long it's going to take for me to receive that order is also uh, uh, could be quite confusing. And even after placing the orders, would drive various different calls either to New Egg, the retailer in this case, or potentially even to the seller. The other piece that I wanted to highlight, that if you look at in case of New Egg, throughout on their platform for the retailer, they call out on their banners around their website around returns. So shop confidently with 30-day hassle-free returns. But as you look for specific policies for this particular seller on New Egg, which is quite inconsistent with the highlighting what New York is highlighting about their 30-day hassle-free return. So two things that I wanted to call out. First and foremost, yes, in this case, retailer has the 30-day free returns. However, the seller is saying 30-day, but there's a restocking fee. So restocking fee in this particular example is 15%. But also, it is truly not hassle free, because the returns instruction is really confusing and convoluted for consumer to understand and really follow those instructions. So again, even if consumer is not paying attention at the time of purchase, these are the things that at scale will create a lot of issues both for sellers and retailer, in this case New Egg. So these are the things that and I wanted to highlight in marketplace setup, where the ecosystem has to be mindful of how do we highlight things that will be important for end consumer. Let's talk about another area that here is that even when you move on from the product pages to shopping cart, even there, you will not see any expectation either around shipping or delivery. So that's another area, a missed opportunity, even if it is not on product pages, but in a shopping cart, it would be important to set expectation. And in this case, at least New Egg is calling out sold by the seller's name. At least that is highlighting this is not a product sold, inventory carried by New Egg is sold by a third party seller. That's at least a good sign there. However, they missed marks on not setting expectations around shipping or delivery in the shopping cart. Okay, now let's move on to the areas where things are being done actually pretty in a decent way to create more clarity and building that confidence with the end consumer. So similar product, I went on eBay again. a massive marketplace platform. They do a phenomenal job. So I wanted to highlight few areas that eBay actually, how they tackle these areas where the intersection of marketplace and supply chain at the time of really driving that demand and driving that online orders. So in this particular case, again, this is a product, vacuum cleaner, similar vacuum cleaner, sold by a third party seller on the eBay platform. So, few things I wanted to call out. In this particular case, shipping, they're calling out 4-day shipping, which is a good sign. Not only shipping, they also call out the delivery date. So they are giving that confidence on both ways. Hey, we will ship it in few days, but it will also get it to you rather quickly. So that was a second area. um, but what was interesting to me here, just like new egg, eBay is also calling out at the product level, free 30-day return. And I wanted to double click on it and see, are these policies consistent with the eBay as a platform, as well as for this particular seller. So when I actually clicked around and saw, those were indeed very much consistent. Unlike in new eggs and the seller there, it was very clear and concise, easy to understand and easy to follow instructions, not that much complexity, very clear that 30 days starts after receiving the item, which is important because oftentimes there is a confusion in the industry today. Hey, if you give me 30 days, is it when you ship it or when I receive it? How long do I really have that 30 days? So eBay has done a good job of calling that out. Also, refund is not just a return. Refund wise, hey, is there any restocking fee? Am I going to get my money back, or do I have a choice? So in this particular, they have highlighted that. And then third piece, like, hey, if I want to get money back, there's no restocking fee. Is there any cost for getting a return label through eBay for this seller? So these are the areas where eBay has done a really good job of highlighting key areas that are top of mind for end consumers after they place an order, after they receive an order, and they have actually highlighted all those pieces and kept it consistent between the seller as well as eBay as a platform. And then that same message that is on the product page is actually is on the shopping cart as well. So they are reinforcing that message of 4-day shipping. And what was interesting to me here, at by this time, eBay was also calling out on the carrier that they may be using for this product, in this case USPS as a carrier. So these are the smaller attributes, but continue to build confidence with the customer. Once they have an intent, they have expressed their intent, they want to buy a product, they know what they're looking for, the price point and the description. This is the time to drive conversion from shopping cart to checkout. And these are the areas, as you do surveys and research, that are top of mind for consumers to really drop that conversion throughout the shopping purchase. A lot of these things come post purchase, but really important to in marketplaces to really scale that business. So yeah, so quick takeaways. I know it may be good to get first few initial orders for sellers through various different retailers and marketplace platform, but at scale, highlighting the areas that are top of mind, especially in this today's environment, which is not just for next shopping season, but for 12 to 18 months, what we can foresee, where things that will be still very much constrained in terms of shipping, in terms of delivery expectations, and post delivery, which is around returns and expectations around exchanges. It is important for creating that consistent message and policies that can really build that trust and confidence for the consumers to buy these products for these sellers through the marketplace platform. So those are a few things that I wanted to highlight. Happy to take specific questions on this topic or any other things that may be top of mind for our audience here. Sounds like, Kevin, there are no questions. I may hang out for a minute or so. If not, I will be wishing you all the best upcoming shopping season. Sounds good. Well, thank you, everybody. And it's good to have few minutes back in your schedule, and thanks for attending. Oh, wait. Kevin mentioned there's a question coming up, I guess. Oh, the question is around one day delivery nationwide. I mean, this is, as we were just discussing earlier as well, standard delivery. What is that standard? One day delivery? Well, it depends. It depends really on the merchandise category, and especially post pandemic, when we are seeing in terms of consumer good, CPG companies, groceries, fast food, there is that expectation of a point to point delivery within an hour, within 30 minutes, or same day, next day. Um, that expectation is being now, at least now, set in the US and in other countries as well, to do that same day, next day delivery now nationwide. For brands and retailers to do that, especially for D2C brands, it may be difficult, because covering that inventory, at least in the US, is a large undertaking. Now, it is possible for omni-channel retailers having a decent footprint with their stores or multiple warehouses. I can see that being a possible option for large merchants to offer, next day delivery. But for boutique brands, for hard to find items, it is harder to offer same day, next day delivery in today's environment. What are okay, competing with the other competition on 2 day 2 day free versus the charging for standard. um Free delivery versus standard delivery being being charged. I mean, again, it comes down to unit economics. So if you have a product line that can actually have the margins there, certainly. And we know for fact empirically that free delivery, whether it is 2 day or longer, it definitely drives the top line growth for sure. But then the question becomes, how do you build, from the unit economics perspective, how do you build a scalable and a sustainable business? So depending again on the merchandise category, if you are able to afford it, then I think it's good to offer free delivery. Now, whether it's 2 day or longer period, that depends on your inventory, and your operating model. But on the other hand, and as you're seeing in the public markets as well, the carriers and the couriers, they are increasing the rates. Labor market is tight. So if you're driving the top line, it will come at the expense of your margins for sure. Another question is around attributes of information that could help set expectation but end up hurting conversion. um I mean, this is important right now, and we are seeing a lot in the industry today, where items are actually being back ordered. So how do you communicate, and especially in white goods and appliances cases, where earlier in the season, and to some extent even now, there is a chip shortage. So if you may even take an order on appliances, on furniture, but there is no practical way for you to get the items delivered. So that means, on one hand, you may have shown standard delivery, or set the standard expectation, not realizing that supply chain and is now 4, 6, 8 weeks in a backlog. That in that particular case, now you have set wrong expectation, and you're driving additional cost from customer service calls, and order cancellations, and replacing some of the orders on behalf of customers. um, it may hurt and depress the online conversion, but the reality is that when you have limited supply, you're really not gonna be hurting your conversion, because you're setting that expectations, at least in today's environment. So I would say and for merchants and for retailers to lean towards being more transparent. You have a limited supply anyway, setting out expectations so that consumers can plan ahead and be in that mindset that is going to take um, 2, 3, 6 months in certain cases to get the products of their choice. If it is a commodity product, then it's a different scenario. Then you have to just see how are you competing for that share of wallet for end consumer. Either, as we discussed, whether it's free shipping, faster delivery in other cases. Another question came around reducing friction around shipping and delivery cost, especially for oversized or heavy items. So these are the items that typically require two-man deliveries, LTL, less than truckload deliveries. Comes especially in case of furniture, appliances, mattresses. Um, in those cases, I would say friction wise, two or three areas: setting expectations, first of all. How long would it take for the merchant to actually deliver that? Often cases, this will require a scheduled delivery, so that the recipient or the customer needs to be at home. Setting expectation, ideally offering a time slot. Other ways that you can provide a frictionless delivery is providing options for assembly or the basic setup. That is very top of mind. Consumers are also very conscious about the packaging, about the product. So if you're not even assembling, but the items are in a way that you can actually come sometimes pre-assembled, so taking the packaging away is another way that you can reduce the hassle for consumer. Inspecting items on site. So these are the different ways that um, merchants and retailers can build that trust and confidence with the consumers for big ticket items and appliances for the delivery, and telling throughout the process, even before the delivery, highlighting that you will be providing on-site inspection of the item, you will be taking the packaging away. That also are the various ways that you can provide a pleasant delivery experiences to customers. So another question is around having seen any positive traction from offering subscription in exchange for discount of items for repeat purchase. Now, various companies are looking at a subscription model. That also has changed because of the consumer behavior. Good examples where this started, which we all know, whether it is Run the Runway and others. And a lot of retailers are offering based on their audience and their customer base. This one, Urban Outfitters comes to mind. Adidas started something similar. Same thing with the Swiss company On Running on the apparel side and footwear side. So there are places where if you see not just the consumable goods, whether it is Dollar Shave Club and others, where you can naturally expect to have a subscription based model every 4, 6, 8 weeks. But retailers are experimenting where frequency of that purchase could be beyond 6 to 8 weeks, maybe in 6 to 12 months. There are also companies have actually are experimenting. Whether that's going to be mainstream or not really depends on the product category and the brand or the retailer, how they can offer that a convenience of having these subscription models. The next question is that how would you handle returns and refund on food, considering low prices on individual items? In the grocery and side of it, when it comes to refund or returns, typically those are all returns are not handled typically in that scenarios. And there's another question around limited supply side of it, this is typically on the substitution side of it. If the item is not there, they will actually substitute, as long as consumer actually allows them to substitute. um, Most of the companies will actually give you some kind of a credit, or in limited cases refund, if you complain about item arrived damaged, or item was missing, or not something that they look for. Either it is through credit or refund. There's no actual return that happens, and that happens in perishable goods anyway. If you're buying a plant, there's no way a merchant is going to initiate a physical return of those goods. On a good faith basis, they will issue a refund or a credit without initiating that returning of that item, physically in itself. Well, thank you everybody for attending the session. Really good set of questions. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of the marketplace conference as well. Thank you.